I know with last class we looked at filling this and doing some cell shading, and I just want to take some note of showing you how to use the gradient tool. Now, I don't use the gradient tool very much in Illustrator, and in fact, I think Illustrator produces really terrible gradients as far as printing them out and actually printing them. But you should know the difference, and you should know when to print them or when to use them and when not to use them. So we're just going to drag this over here just so you can kind of see the difference. We're going to zoom in. The very easiest way to apply a gradient is to use the little button down here, gradient. Now this has what I was working on before, so let's just kind of, there we go. Okay, so you have to have something selected first. So we're going to get this down to, oh, not hide options, show options. I want to show you some of the different things that you can do inside of here. So if I wanted to change my color, let's say we wanted to go to black and white or something else, I just double click on where it says gradient slider and I get a color palette. Now I could use my swatches. And so there I have, you can see there's a shift in gradation. Now you want to make sure this stays between about 40 and 60. If you do too much like this, you're going to get some color banding that's just not going to look right. Color banding is, I got a pretty good monitor, it probably won't show. In the video it might show because it's probably downgrading it to show you, but you'll get some what's called banding where you see the stripes of it. So you want to make sure you kind of maintain a more subtle shift in color. I could also do an angle, right? So let's say we'll bring this back to 90. So you can see there was a shift in that. Let's actually give you, just so you can kind of see. So you can see what happens. It tries to blend this color, and it's kind of gross. But let's just do black and white so you can kind of just get the effect. Right. So that's the first thing that you kind of do. Let's just set this back to 0 so it's working left to right. Okay. Another option that you can do is you could do radial. So radial works somewhat of the same way, right? It's just the difference in right? It works on a circular level, so it looks like there's a pinpoint of light hitting here and kind of radiating out sideways. So this is a good way to add some sort of depth, or the illusion of depth, I should say. We're going to select that and bring that back to linear. I do want to add in some color here, so we're going to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to add in a dark color on that side. I'm going to add in a lighter color on this side. Actually, we'll do this one. And so you can see, I can say, all right, well, I want to make that. So something to notice is, this is what we're going to get into. I could add colors to this too. So right now we have 2 colors, but let's say I wanted to add a 3rd color in there. I'm going to move this over. So this is your color happening on the bottom. This is how much the gradient works. So you can see as I move it over, I get a weird split. This is how much it's actually using the gradation. To add one, you simply just click on the color side. I'm going to add this lighter color that's over here. And so I can also use my slider to show how I'm going to gradate that, right? So I could do a little bit more harsh. I could do a little bit more simple. So this is the illusion that something light is happening, something middle is happening, and something dark is happening. Let's double click on this and get, what is the darker value? Okay. So let's up this a little bit. So now you get this shift in color where it's darker over here. Maybe you don't want that. You can reblend that to whatever you want. Oops, I didn't have it selected. So let's take the same idea and let's do the radial one. And you can see there's quite a difference that happens. Now, something that I want to show is that if you don't want to use the sliders, you can also use the gradient tool that's over here. This allows me to draw, rotate, change my where this is coming from. So I want to move this center point. Actually, I want to redraw this. So you can see I can redraw this as far as what's happening here. So now I can move this along. I can also use the same slider that I had up here, but now there's just a little bit more kind of just organic way of doing it. And that's kind of up to you as far as how you want to do that. So let's select that again. And let's say I just want to rotate this guy around. So let's just zoom out. You can see on the outside there's a rotation. I want to make sure that the light's actually coming from over here. Oops. Right, so now I have this, and you can see the difference that it makes. We're going to drag this, and we're going to drag that over top. So you can see there's quite a different dynamic to the simple shine that I had over here and the way that this is working over here. So you can work the gradient in a couple different ways. Let's go to linear, and I can draw with the gradient tool also, as far as kind of what I would like it to be. So that's kind of the really down and dirty way of using the gradient tool.